I'm 88 years old. I've got $1.1 million in the bank, and I'd give every penny of it to go back to a Tuesday in 1979. My name is Walter Hadley. That Tuesday, my daughter Karen had a dance recital. She was 9. She'd been practicing in the living room for weeks, and I told her I'd be there. I promised. But our regional director was retiring, and I wanted his job. So I was at the office every night that week until 10 o'clock. And that Tuesday, I chose the office over my little girl's recital. When I got home that night, she was still awake, sitting on the stairs in her costume. And she looked up at me and said, "Daddy, I looked for you in the audience. I looked for you the whole time." I didn't know it then, but what that little girl said to me on those stairs was going to change my life forever. I worked 38 years for the same company. Started on the factory floor, ended in the corner office. Did everything they tell you to do. Saved, invested, sacrificed. And I'm grateful. But somewhere in all that, I almost lost the only things that ever mattered. Almost. And I'm going to tell you what woke me up. Because some of you need the same wake-up call I did. I started at the company in 1966, 28 years old. Jean and I had been married a couple years by then. Karen came along in 1970. Michael, 2 years after that. And I worked. Lord, I worked. Once those kids came, I started feeling a strange pressure. I thought the best thing I could give my family was money, financial security. So I took every shift. Every Saturday, not every Sunday. Jean put her foot down about church. But everything else. They kept promoting me, all the way to director. But Jean raised those kids alone. I need to say that. She did the school runs, the homework, the recitals, all of it, by herself. And I told myself she understood. She didn't complain. But quiet is not the same as okay. I know that now. And if you're sitting there thinking, well, I have to work, I have bills. Yeah, so did I. That's not the point. The point is, okay, let me tell you about my 2 friends. We worked together, same company, same lunch table for years. Donnie Pace and Frank Moretti. What happened to the 3 of us is one of the reasons I am here. So don't go anywhere. Donnie was the guy everybody felt sorry for. Good worker. But when the company posted an opening for district manager, Donnie passed. Twice. His boss said, "What's wrong with you?" Donnie said, "Nothing. I can't work more time than this, whatever you pay me." Frank and I laughed at that. No ambition. His own wife called him a fool. But I started noticing him from that day. Every Sunday I'd drive past Donnie's house. 6 or 7 cars in the driveway. Sometimes 10. Kids, grandkids, neighbors. That little house was always full. And I'd drive past in my nice car going home to my quiet house and think, well, at least I have the better truck. Funny what you tell yourself, right? Now let me tell you about Frank. He was quite the opposite. Ambitious. Sometimes even greedy. He worked every weekend. Put everything he earned into savings. He had more money than any of us. But his wife left him at 48. Said she'd been alone for 20 years. His kids moved far away. Not because of jobs. They just didn't want to be near him. Frank retired at 63. Bought a place in Scottsdale. Called it Freedom. Then he started calling me every Tuesday night. At first it was, normal. Sports, old stories, news. But the quiet parts in those calls got longer. That was a man with nobody to talk to the other 6 nights. One day he said, "I don't know why I earned so much money when I have nobody to spend it on." I could feel regret in his voice. He stopped taking care of his health, and there was no one with him. Sometimes this emptiness leads to depression. I was worried for him. One day he fell in his bathroom at 79. Nobody found him for 2 days. His son put him in a nursing home and went back to his own life. Frank died there in 2 years. I drove 4 hours to that funeral. 7 people were in that room. Not even the whole family. Now, here's the part where I tell you how I changed myself in my 40s. I saw both lives. Donnie's full house, Frank's empty one. And I was living Frank's life. I knew it. And Karen's words. What she said on those stairs. They didn't hit me all at once. I went back to work the next morning, got the promotion, got my name on the door. But those words stayed with me. In the car, in the office on Saturdays, at the dinner table when my kids had nothing to say to me. I looked for you the whole time. I was about 43 when it finally got through to me. I came home one night, late, like always, and Jean had stopped leaving dinner out for me. She didn't say anything, didn't slam any doors. She'd just stopped expecting me to come home. No plate on the counter. Kitchen was dark. She'd gone to bed. And I stood there in that dark kitchen and I heard my daughter's voice. Clear as the night she said it. I looked for you the whole time. I thought about Frank, already heading down a road with no one at the end of it. I thought about Donnie's full driveway. And I thought about my wife upstairs who'd stopped waiting for me. Something broke in me that night. The good kind. The kind where you stop fooling yourself. I decided I was going to change. Not tomorrow, right then. Next day, I left the office at 5. Everyone was surprised. I walked in the door and Karen looked up and said, "Daddy's home?" Like a question. Like she wasn't sure it was real. Then the happiness on her face, it was priceless. I kept showing up. A week, a month. The kids stopped being surprised. It became normal. And normal was the whole point. Jean started leaving dinner out again. She started smiling more. I took Karen fishing one Saturday. She talked the whole time. About school, her friends, a boy she'd kill me for telling that, but she talked. And I thought, this is what I've been missing. Michael asked me to coach his baseball team. I said yes. First time in years I said yes to something that didn't come with a paycheck. Then the company offered me a bigger job, more money, more travel, 3 nights a week gone. And I said no. Nobody fired me. Nothing fell apart. I just had my Saturdays back. Some of you are scared of that, saying no, leaving at 5. I was scared too. Nothing bad happened. I'm almost done. But let me tell you what to prioritize in your life. Here's what I know after 88 years. Money can buy you a big house, but it can't fill it with people. A big house with nobody in it is just rooms. A small house full of family is a home. Your kids are not going to remember what you bought them. They're going to remember if you were there. They're going to remember the sound of you coming through the door at night. Karen was 9 when she told me she looked for me in the audience. I was 41. I can still hear her voice on those stairs. Your kids are keeping count. Even when they smile and say it's fine, it's not fine. They remember. And this idea that you'll, work hard now and be there for them later, that's the biggest lie we tell ourselves. You can always make more money. You cannot make more time. Every missed night is gone. You don't get it back. I still wish I had found my way earlier. I wish I hadn't been absent through my kids' childhood. But at least I was there for them. At least for some part of their childhood. I'm 88 years old, and my house is loud. Karen flies in from Denver every month. Not because she has to, because she wants to. Michael brings the grandkids every Sunday, 3 of them. They break things, they spill things, they fight over who sits next to Grandpa. Best sound in the world. I think about Donnie. He knew from the start what took me 20 years to learn. And I think about Frank. Every Tuesday. I wish he could see my Sundays. I wish somebody had woke him up the way I got woke up. But nobody did. That's why I'm telling you this. If you're hearing me, you still have time. More time than Frank had, but less than you think. You don't have to quit your job. You don't have to change everything. You just have to go home. Not tomorrow, tonight. My last advice for you. Don't lose your work-life balance. Your personal health and your relations matter as much as your job or business. The day I learned to keep balance between my job and my family, I also learned to give time to my own health. And it has rewarded me immensely. So, put the phone down. Close the laptop. Walk through that door while the lights are still on, and your kids are still awake. Because one day your little girl is going to look for you in the audience, and you're either going to be there or you're not. Karen's 56 now. Last month she came to visit and we sat on the porch, and she said, "Daddy, I'm glad you came back to us." I felt something I can't explain. Anyway, that's all I've got. I'm going to go call my daughter now.